What's up, my Fina loves? It's Miss Fina D coming to you all from Vinatainment News. So, part 3 of Married to Medicine, the reunion, came on. We got to watch it, and I'm sure that probably the LA one is going to come on before the Ladies of Atlanta comes back on. But let's go ahead and jump right into it, man. I mean, domestic violence is never okay, regardless of the parties being involved. It's just sad to hear what Quad went through and also what Greg went through. It was a very, very toxic relationship, so I'm glad that it's over. I'm glad they hug each other at the end, and I'm happy that there are no children involved into this mess. Greg can move on and be happy, and Quad can move on and be happy. What I did not like in that moment is, I get it. Some people might say, Vina, does it even matter why Quad pulled a knife? They were both toxic. They both admitted to being physical towards each other as it relates to domestic violence. So it doesn't matter. I just feel like Andy not asking certain questions or certain things being deleted from the episode, they decided to allow the audience to come to a conclusion. And I don't like using the word victim in any way, but I feel like in that moment, with Andy not asking a certain question, made one person the victim and one person the villain. When Greg said that Quad pulled a knife on him, then Quad went into, he dragged her, okay? He tried to suffocate her. They were in a car and he decided to drive fast, trying to kill the both of them. I hear her. And if all of those things happen to Quad, I empathize with her. And I pray for healing. But my thing is, what Bravo and Andy did in that moment was, they left it up in the air. Was this before or after she pulled a knife on him? Okay. Was the knife pulling incident a separate situation? What led her to pull the knife? Because what ended up happening is, the first thing that people's reaction was, hell, if you drag me, you're pulling me, you're trying to suffocate me and threaten to kill me while I'm in a car with you, hell yeah, I'm running to the kitchen and pulling the knife on you too. And if we have a gun, somebody going to end up on snap. That's what that moment did to people, because it wasn't clear. Because if you are having a disagreement with someone and that person charged at you with a knife, are you just going to sit there and be like, oh, I'm a man, there's a woman with a knife in her hand, I'm just going to sit here and be quiet? Or are you going to have a reaction to save and protect your life? You know what I'm saying? The whole thing is sad and it's terrible and it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying, without getting into details, it just left it in the air for people to make assumptions. That hell, if you drag me and the A, B, and C to me, I'm going to pull a knife too. So right there, making it Greg is the aggressor, and Quad was right for pulling the knife on her abusive husband. Whereas both of them agreed and, nodded their head and said, yes, we were both toxic and aggressive and physical against each other. Those things should not have happened in our marriage. So that's that. Wishing them the best, okay? The part when you can sit there as a man and a woman and count the amount of times you've had sex in the amount of years you've been married, that's terrible. I'm not talking about, oh, you know what? I was mad at my husband. I was mad at my wife. So, for a few weeks, a month, 3 years, 3 years, two people living in the same house as husband and wife, claim they love each other and no sex? Ugh! I just believe, because these two were really early into their marriage and all of those things when Married to Medicine came on, I just believe it was, look, I get to be, famous and do my thing. You are a doctor. You get to have this huge platform to promote your practice, and people going to get to know you for the rest of your life as Dr. G. Let's just have this agreement. Let's just hang or not. But let's just get these extra checks, and let's just hang in here and be partners for the show. That's what it's in the same roof. I just feel like both of them had an agreement. That's it, and so I get it. I get the stress part. I'm stressing that we're fighting all the time. So, when she said, oh, he wouldn't get an erection, and I don't think I'm an ugly person, I'm pretty and all of that. But who's going to get anything? Y'all pulling knives and throwing the bowl at each other. All this stuff. Go online, type in their names. The mug shots and the case and stuff will come out, and you can read all about it, okay? There are some bloggers that went digging enough and got the whole background check and all of that stuff. Go online and read it for yourself. I'm not trying to do an hour review. So let's move on. The other part where I'm talking about Andy being biased is every time I talk about Quad and Greg, I always use, whenever I talk about violence in a relationship, I use both of their mug shots. I only use this picture right here, side by side. The clip that Andy, why did they choose to only show the clip and the part where Quad is talking about Greg mugshot? After that, that was a perfect opportunity to put up, and also Quad have a mugshot too. They both were wrong, and they were both toxic in their relationship. So don't just put Quad pointing out his flaws in his mugshot, but not the one where she also got arrested because both of them got into it. So that's what I'm talking about when I talk about being biased and all of that. Now let's move on to Toya and Mariah saying that, be careful what you say. The word hit was not used and all of that. And people online say, they can't believe women were trying to stand up for Greg, even though Greg did it. We're just saying be careful with your words, because they didn't say, he hit, but someone have to knock you out, punch you, give you a black eye for it. Dragging, you have to put your hands on someone and knock them to the floor to drag them, right? So I see where they were coming from, but it was like, okay, Greg said, he just said, the physical abuse on both of our parts hurt my feelings. So they both admitted to it. You know what I'm saying? So I don't think someone have to punch you and knock you out for it to be bad. It was bad, period. So let's go ahead and move on from that. So I'm glad that whole situation is over. Yes. Do I think Quad and Greg can be friends again? Absolutely. They can be friends again, but in the aspect where she, the healing process happens and she's with somebody else and happy and move on, and he's with somebody else and all of that. Now, there's still some bitterness going on there. So if Quad move on and start having kids, you see, Quad didn't want kids with Greg. So Greg move on and start having kids. It's not going to bother Quad at all. And they can have a friendship and be cool. But if Quad move on and start having kids, and for some reason Greg is still not in that space where he's remarried and having kids, then I'm sure he's going to be bitter. Friendship over. Like, really, she's having kids with somebody else. So it's going to take time for them to build a friendship. Okay, Contessa and Toya. So look, if you listen to my other review of certain episodes, you will see there were times that I was on Contessa's side, right? Because I was like, Toya is being petty. Toya is being petty, girl. Let it go. It's not that serious. But listening to Contessa on the reunion, that changed my mind a little bit. Now, I get it. There's one place, though, one point that Contessa made that I personally felt like, were just distasteful. Like, it was disgusting. I'm from West Africa, Liberia, Most of you know that. I'm a survivor of 2 civil wars. You guys know that, for those of you who listen to all of my videos and not just a segment I do on certain people, okay? I was a refugee, all right? When my country in a war, and just I've witnessed everything. If you're not going to discuss you guys with details, but I was a refugee. My family and I were trying to get out, and we lost a lot of people in our family and trying to get out. And so we went to different neighboring African countries, West African countries, for shelter. Then again, you see things that's going on, and the refugees and just everything they're going through. So that word is still a sensitive subject. So I didn't laugh in that moment. I didn't even have the reaction of read. I didn't. Because I thought she was being insensitive. And I'm going to put some on the screen. A few people on social media felt the same as well when she made that comment. I know she was in the heat of the moment, and it was only for Toya. Okay, so don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Oh, because she used the word refugee or said it, she's saying it for everybody. No, she was upset, and in that moment, she was talking to Toya, and Toya only and saying the refugee. A refugee is a person who has been forced to leave their country in order to escape war, persecution, or natural disaster. A displaced person, okay, but is asylum seeker, runaway, exile, escapee, things like that. So Toya does not fit that word or description. So that's what I'm saying. She does not. Deep, and it just took me back to, dang, I was a refugee, and it's all good. I get it. People get in the heat of the moment and they start throwing stuff around. I've already addressed the drug situation in the last video I did. That's why I'm not bringing it up. Kudos to Jackie and other people, you know, being there for Quad, giving her a hug when she came out of the room, all of that. Okay, I'm jumping around, but I'm trying to make sure that I didn't miss anything. So yeah, I love that in the end, Mariah just sat there and just watch other people yell and go through their stuff. I also like the moment where, unless Bravo once again did an amazing editing, like, okay, Mariah and Heavenly already had their moment. We are not about to waste precious moments on their BS anymore. Because I was ready for round 250 when they played the clip and Andy brought up Mariah saying that her husband, ex, before her, looked like Heavenly. It was ugly and looked like Heavenly. I was like, oh Lord, here we go. They're about to go at it again. We're about to be here all night. And all I saw was Heavenly saying, hell, all of Damon's ex-girlfriends are ugly too. I was like, ooh, look at God. I was clutching. I was holding on to my imaginary purse, child. I was like, really? Did we just have a moment where these two are not screaming? I really do believe Bravo cut some things out. Again, it's possible that before Heavenly went there, she realized, you know what? I did say my sister was an ugly person towards me, and that she reminded me about Mariah. So, you know what? I'm not even going to be biased or a hypocrite right now. I said some things about her. Let's just leave it alone. Hell, my husband has some ugly ex-girlfriends. And I was like, okay, come through, growth. We shall see. But yeah. And then, what else? Congratulations to Toya and her husband on the house and all of that. Dr. Jackie. Same old, different day. I don't trust my husband. And that thing never goes away. You know, it never goes away. And then you have to one day sit yourself down and say, okay, either I'm going to accept it and move on, or keep torturing myself, because it's never going to go away. The whole trust, yeah, it's not going anywhere. You just learn to live with it and work through it, but I don't think it's going to go away. Simone, Dr. Simone and her husband, I'm glad. Everything is cool. I'm glad she acknowledged that you don't have to be that loud to get your point across. Like, it's not that necessary, you know, and all of that. The whole sex conversation, all of the little side talks and little things here and there, yeah, not major. I'm glad that Mariah clarified. Aiden have a job. Aiden have options. It's just that where he works or anything that's going on is transitioning to a different state. And Mariah does not want to uproot the kids in their beautiful home and everything they have built in Atlanta to relocate and adjust to a completely different state. And if Aiden have to go and maybe she and the kids visit, that's what's going to happen. But then when you have a situation where you talked about, infidelity and all of that, it's a tricky situation. So they are still figuring it out. I'm sure they will figure it out, but I don't see Mariah selling or giving up her home, her marital home, the foundation, and the kids and all of that. I don't see her uprooting the kids and doing all of that to move to a new state. I see her saying, Aiden, go on out there, do your thing, see if you like it, get settled. And I see them having 2 homes. I see that happening. They have homes anyways, okay? They have investments and all of that. I'm just saying, if he end up in Texas or whatever he's going, I see them keeping the house in Atlanta and every other weekend going to be with him, or during the week or on vacations going to be with him. That is if he takes the job out there. It's good to know that, Caesar's working on getting a job, and but Simone makes good money. And let's not get it twisted, okay? Married to Medicine, it's a check. This is a job. So Caesar, is working because he's a huge part of Simone's storyline. So that's his contribution right there. All right. So I'm wishing all of them well. Eugene, amazing husband. He sat there smiling. Toya's going in. She comes out. Guess what Eugene is doing? Rubbing his wife's feet. I talked about this on the very first review I did about the reunion. Rubbing her feet. I'm like, yes, Eugene. So there you have it. Great overall season. Same or different day, drama, nothing changed. But I'm going to go ahead and end it here, my Fina loves. Thank you all for your love and support. If you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. Go ahead and leave this video a thumbs up. Also, turn notifications so when I do post your way that I posted. And I will see you all in the comment section. Remember to always have the God bless attitude, which is being positive at all times and seeing the good in every situation. Have a great day, guys. God bless.